Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Becoming Stronger podcast. I'm your host, Will DeBeast, and today we have a very special guest on the show. And I'm sitting down with classic physique competitor Terrance Ruffin, who has competed at the Olympia multiple times, and I really loved hearing his story. You got to hear his military experience and what led to his bodybuilding career, and you get to hear everything in between. I do just want to apologize for not putting out interviews every single week consistently. I don't have the biggest Rolodex like a lot of other people. I'm doing what I can. I'm trying to make you all proud of what I'm doing. So I might not have an interview every single week, but I want you all to know that I am working as hard as I can to try and bring you guys interviews as often as I can. And another thing I want to let you know about is on my Instagram page, I've been pushing the heck out of my Stage Ready podcast that's going to be coming out pretty soon. I'm really excited to get that started with my friend Samantha. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you're all ready for it. Before we get into the interview here today with Terrance Ruffin, hit the subscribe, hit the like, and hit the notification bell. Now, I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Let's hear Terrance Ruffin's story. All right. We are live, Terrance. I'm so happy to have you on here. We scheduled this interview about like a month ago because you were so busy with all these seminars you're doing. But I'm happy to have you here. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Yeah. Second weekend home. So, yeah, it's nice to be kind of relaxing a little bit.
Yeah, you're one of the guys I really respect, and I think your attitude towards the sport of bodybuilding is just absolutely awesome, and I'm very happy to have you on here. But I did bring up the seminars, and that's kind of what I just wanted to like talk about before we get started. But what have they been like for you so far? Because I know you've been doing a ton of them.
Yeah. So it's been great. I started off like the tour in Boca, then we went to Orlando, then to Houston, then down to Miami, and then I have another one in Arizona in May. So they've been great. I like getting out and meeting people and meeting the fans and stuff. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. That's why I do it so often,
Yeah, it seems like a lot of fun meeting all these like awesome people and like really helping them and helping what they want to do. So I think it's just absolutely awesome what you're doing.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. I mean, I think I'm at least with me, like some people are really good on social media and with helping people, but I always feel like in person is like the best thing,
Yeah, I definitely think that in person, like helping is one of the best things that you could do. But we're gonna get started now. A couple weeks ago, I don't know if you remember this, but you were going live on Instagram and you were doing like this live like question thing where you would have the people ask questions and you would answer them.
Yeah.
So I threw in a question and it said, "Who you got, Stipe or Francis?" And then you said, "I don't know what a Stipe or a Francis is. Well, I don't know what you're talking about." And I was I was talking about UFC. And
Yeah.
I know the secret gym that you go to, the secret owner that has another on the other side. It's like an MMA place. Do you think that this secret owner will give you a hands-on experience the next time you go there?
You can say his name. His Batista. I mean, me and Batista, like, I know him. I've seen him a few times and we're cordial, but I guess we're not really close. He has an MMA trainer at the facility there. It's like a cool little spot. So like the downstairs, it's like a gym, like kitchen and his office there, 2 office areas.
Yeah.
And then upstairs is like where he does like his MMA stuff. And I've never asked him could I practice up there. Maybe I should.
Yeah. Well, because I do like jiu-jitsu and wrestling, and like I think it's a lot of fun, the whole MMA thing. It's like when I first started a couple of years ago, I was really nervous about it because I thought I would just get hurt and people would just go crazy over you. But like you're really learning some awesome techniques and learning how to like defend yourself, and it is a lot of fun. But you brought up Batista, but what was it like being able to meet him for the very first time in person? Like, did you like know who he was actually?
Yeah. I'm a fan of. I used to be a fan of wrestling, and I'm obviously I'm a fan of Marvel. So yeah, I knew exactly who he was. And it's been kind of interesting, like getting to know little bits and pieces of him, over the past 2 years. He's a lot different than what I thought he was going to be like. He's a lot
Yeah,
more down to earth. He's very frugal with his money, but he gets he likes what he likes and he buys what he wants, but he doesn't he's not like flashy.
yeah,
And he's also like, he has goals with acting. He doesn't want to be just like an action star. He wants to be like considered a real actor, which I think is pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, I heard him talking about it. Like, he doesn't want to be like that kind of like actor that's just like hardcore and everything. He wants to be like a real actor that does real roles. And the only reason why I was saying like secret and stuff, because in one of your videos, I think it was like a year or two back, you're driving by and you're like, I'm in the car, I'm driving by this place. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for showing this, but here's the
Oh,
location of this gym. And then,
I didn't know at the time. Yeah, I finally asked him like, was it cool to talk? Say, I didn't know what he was thinking because he does have like fans like show up sometimes to ask him like to sign stuff. So I didn't want to get in. I definitely didn't know. I didn't want to get in trouble, but apparently it's cool.
yeah. When I interviewed a comic artist, Ron Garney, who's working with Keanu Reeves on a comic book, he gets so many weird messages. Like, a girl messaged Ron Garney and was like, Keanu is trapped in like Singapore. He's kidnapped. I need to know he's okay. Please tell me my boyfriend, my soulmate, is okay. I
Oh
love
my
him so
god.
much. Keanu is mine.
there's some there's some strange people out there in the world. Yeah, every time we have someone pull up near the gate, I'm always like, oh my god, I wonder who this is. But most of the time it's just normal people like the mailman or like someone that's got lost or something turning
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that's pretty cool being able to train at that gym. But have you ever like done a session with him before?
No, I guess I'm not cool enough yet, but he's worked out with Brandon Curry before. He's let Brandon
Nice.
Curry in. My friend Rachel Daniels, he's trained with her. She's a pro. And a couple other guys too he's worked with. He's a big fan of bodybuilding actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the New York Pro and he was at a couple other pro shows. The Olympia too, he was there too.
Yeah, nice. Sorry for fanning out. I just had to ask because I think Dave is a really cool guy. But the next thing I want to talk about with you is, well, as you can see, I love comic books and I love hearing characters' origin stories. So I want to hear your origin story. Can you tell me what like your childhood was like and what led you to getting to where you are today?
That's a long, I don't know. It's a long story. I don't know how much you want to know, but
Well, we're here for a while, so
okay. Well, I grew up in a small town called Beatrice, Alabama. Population was around 400 or 500 at the time. Now it's around 200 300. With just my mom and my grandmother, we all live together. And I grew up, got older. I was never like a super cool kid, but I wasn't like I was just kind of in the middle, just like a normal kid. I played I did sports, I ran like track. I played football for a while when I got a little bit older. I did kung fu, kickboxing, taekwondo, and I think that's about it. Yeah, for sports. I was always really big into art. I applied to like this art school. It used to be this commercial on TV, the Art Institute, and I applied there, and I actually got in, but apparently I was too young. So that was pretty. I mean, I was still pretty happy. Like, oh, my art's good enough to make it into this college. Um, so as I got into high school, though, I was kind of burnt out from high school. I graduated a year early, and I decided to join the military. So I went in wanting to do like special forces, and I did not end up making that. I was spent about 6 months in the pipeline is what they call it, and yeah, this was just a dumb mistake. I was tired. You don't get a lot of sleep on some of the things that you're out there doing, and then I just made a mistake, and then that was my last mistake. So as I was waiting for my new job, because if you don't make it past like a first week or two, you just get kicked out for wasting the time. You get kicked out of the military for wasting the time. So Um, I got a new job. It was electronic warfare, and basically it's kind of like avionics, which means you're working on electronics that deal with planes. So basically, I work. If you've ever seen a movie and a pilot saying I'm locking on to target, uh, what I worked on stopped it from doing that. It's like a jamming system. So that's what I worked on for my entire Air Force career. And during that time, I found bodybuilding. And at first, I was just trying to get stronger so I can come back and try, special forces out again. But I just started kind of like lifting. And I didn't want, honestly, I was just kind of over it. Like, I was like, I don't really want to do that anymore. It was really, really hard on my joints. I was only 19 at the time and I felt like I was like 60. Like it hurt to stand up, dude. It was bad. So, as I started to put on muscle fairly quickly. And then, these guys, they told me you should look into bodybuilding. And I was like, okay. So I walked down to the grocery store, picked up a bodybuilding magazine, and Dexter Jackson was on the cover. And as soon as I saw him, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And that was kind of the start there.
I kind of want to go back. You kind of like breezed on it earlier, but that was like kind of like your school, and I can relate to a lot of it because I'm not like popular in like any sort of way. I'm kind of like the middle, like you were. But like, what was it like for you? Did you ever like get picked on or anything, or were you more like the just like going by and like minding your own business or whatever?
So I didn't really get picked on in elementary school. I was fine there. I got picked on a lot in middle school, unfortunately. High school, I moved to take care of my grandmother, and at that school, wasn't picked on either, really. But in middle school, it was pretty tough. Yeah, they used to pick on me a lot. But I mean, I still had a pretty good time. I had friends. I dated like one or two girls during middle school. But yeah, there's some mean stuff said here and there.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm in my second year of high school right now, and it's almost over. But last year, I thought I was finally getting like popular, and I thought people were like really starting to like know who I was and find out what I'm doing and stuff like that. But then this year, for the longest time, until about like a month ago, I was sitting by myself at lunch and not sitting with anybody. I don't know what happened. I thought I was really starting to become popular, and then I was just sitting alone every day at lunch. But it sucks what we go through because we think we're really cool people, and then it turns out that like no one cares, and then you're just sitting
Everyone's
alone at lunch.
Yeah, man. Like one thing, at least I've been learning, and it sounds like you may have like a similar thing. Like friendships, you have to put effort into them, man. You like at least as like an adult, everyone has their own lives. They're so stuck in everything that they're doing. But if you want to have a friend, if you get along with someone, you just kind of have to put effort into it. Reach out to them, talk to them, see how they're doing.
Yeah.
I think that may be the best thing. And that's helped me a lot because, yeah, I mean, I was never super close to anyone in high school. Honestly, I just, I had like okay friends here or there, and I would just hang out with whoever I felt like hanging out with. I play football, so sometimes I would hang out with football guys. Sometimes I would hang out with, I was in the band too. I would hang out with the band people sometimes. So I didn't have like a very strong like clique. I just kind of move from people to people. But I notice now, man, like as I get older, like I am alone a lot. But in the past year or two, since I've been like actually calling my friends and stuff and asking them how they're doing and trying to make plans, it's gotten a lot better. I hang out with a lot more friends now. I got a lot more stuff to do just because I actually try to do it.
Yeah, a lot of people I've talked to for like the interviews, they say I'm a lot older than my actual age, and that's why a lot of people like aren't like talking to me and stuff because they think like I'm doing too good or something like that. But you brought up something that was pretty interesting. Like the band. Were you in like just a high school band, or were you in like an actual like rock band that you did with your
Oh,
friends?
no. I was in a high school in the band. I played the trumpet. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So I was in the band in middle school. There was actual class. Obviously, but playing football, I could never like do the band while doing
Yeah.
that. But I still took class, and I ended up getting hurt my last year of during football season. So I just switched over to the band that last year.
Now, do you still play the trumpet at all, or did you just like
Not
give
at
it up?
all, man. Yeah, I wish I
Yeah.
would have. I look back and like, man, I wish I would have played like a cooler instrument,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh yeah. My dad kicks me all the time because I don't know. I've been like on and off playing guitar for like 4 or 5 years, and I
Mhm.
haven't played it since like last year, just because I've been so busy with everything. But every day he's like, "Are you gonna start practicing guitar?" And like, come on.
Yeah, dude. I actually, yeah, I used to play bass, and I wanted to learn to play guitar because Slash. I was for some reason I just always really like Slash from Guns N'
Yeah.
Roses,
Yeah.
and I only wanted to play because I just liked him. I just liked his whole like look. So I was like, oh, let me buy a guitar, and I never really took it too seriously. I was pretty good at bass, but I never had the time to play guitar, and I ended up just giving it to my stepdad because he's really good at it. He's really good at guitar.
That that's like how I feel because I don't have like any time to practice
Get really
guitar. And
busy.
yeah, he's constantly like, "Well, it looks like you're not doing anything. You want to practice guitar?" I'm like, "I'm working on my interviews."
Yeah, I got you, man. Or you just need a break. You just need to relax sometimes. Yeah, yeah.
So I think a story that you might be interested in was my dad actually did go to a Velvet Revolver concert, and
Cool.
he said it was absolutely terrible. They did not perform the greatest. Uh,
Okay.
but that yeah, he's he was like yeah, he just said it wasn't like the greatest. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, man. You know what's funny? I've never been to a concert. Somebody was. I got a lot of crap for that the other day. I did a
Oh,
Q&A, and yeah, I guess when everything starts to open back up, I'll check one out. But I've always been
yeah.
kind of weird about going to concerts.
I miss going to I've been to like 7 or 8 of them. I absolutely love going to them. But another funny story is my dad took my mom to her very first ever like concert, and it was like a metal singer named Zach Wild,
Okay.
and there was this guy that was next to them that was like drunk out of his mind, and I don't know what the guy's problem was, but he whipped it out and started peeing everywhere, and then they called the security guards
Yeah.
over, and they came over and they tackled the guy, and they were rolling around in the pee and wrestling. And then when they found out that it was actually pee, because they thought it was like beer or something, and they were actually rolling around in the guy's pee. So when they
Oh
found
my
out what it
god.
was, they picked him up and threw him out the door and like,
Oh my god.
and stay out. But
Where was this? Was this like in New Orleans?
this was in Hartford, Connecticut.
Connecticut.
But
It was up in Connecticut. Okay.
but ever since then, my mom's like, I'm never, ever going to a metal concert again.
Yeah, that's like traumatic, man. Yeah, I don't know if I would either.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just can't even imagine that. Just seeing a guy just start peeing next to you on the floor next to everybody. But
Oh my god.
um, you did talk about your military time and your service for a little bit, but I wanted to like expand more on it. So you did like the electronic things where you would like stop it from like what did you how did you word it again?
Okay. Yeah. So the system I worked on, it's a long name, but it's AN/ALQ 184 ECM pod. Or
Okay.
you can just say 184 pod for short. Um, they attached to this plane called the Warthog. A lot of people have seen the plane. If you pulled up a picture, you would probably say, "Oh, I've probably seen that."
Yeah.
But basically, it's a jamming system. It jams radio frequencies, and basically it jams those frequencies coming from missiles or other planes or other radar systems. So um, you can find some cool videos on YouTube where like a missile's tracking like a plane about to hit it, and then you'll see the missile just fly off into the air because it jams the frequencies. So yeah.
Wow, that seems pretty cool. But being in like the military, were you able to like travel outside of the U.S. for like what you had to do, or did you always just have to stay where you were?
Yeah, man, my time in the military was pretty boring. I think it's kind of it's probably good for people to hear kind of my story because everyone thinks a certain way about the military, like everyone's going overseas and fighting and stuff. But mine was pretty boring. I pretty much spent my whole time in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, at Eglin Air Force Base, and I never went anywhere. I went one place, and that was to California for like 3-4 days, and most of the time it was just I would get up and go to work and be there at 6:45 and get off at 3, and had the weekends off. So yeah, pretty boring time in the military for sure.
Were you ever like able to like fly the planes, or were you not allowed to?
No, sometimes people would. So the other thing was the base I was at was a testing base, so not much of anything happened. I have heard stories of some of the guys that went different bases throughout their career. If you save the pilot's life with if the thing we worked on saved the pilot's life, then a lot of times the pilot would take you on a fly along, which
Nice.
yeah, that's pretty cool. The other thing I did while I was in was I did the honor guard. So there's 2 levels of it. It's like the big honor guard, and then there's base honor guard. So I spent a year doing that, and I really enjoyed it. So basically, I would go do like different things for like parades, retirements, promotions, and funerals. So I would go to funerals, and I would be the guy folding the flag and passing it off to the next of kin. So that was actually, I mean, it was definitely sad, but I actually got a lot more fulfillment for that because I could see I could see exactly what was going on and who I was helping. With the jamming job, I just worked at a computer and never really got to see much of anything.
Yeah, but you'd have to be like pretty damn smart to be able to do that and have some pretty good computer knowledge, right?
Yeah, man. They teach you. It's pretty cool. It's like a 6 months course before you can go and then it's a year on the job training once you get there, and you learn RF theory and electronics while you're in school. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, that does sound pretty cool. But correct me if I'm wrong. For like your military training, didn't you like have to like run with like 80-pound bags like long distances?
So basic training. So there's different branches. There's the Air Force, Army, Marines. Air Force is definitely the easiest basic training or boot camp, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there's a lot of running. There's a lot of marching. A lot of especially with me, I wasn't in the normal Air Force boot camp because I had originally joined to do special forces, so we had a harder one. We had to do more stuff, so it was definitely hard. But and then once I got to special forces training, that's where we carry like logs. They would wake us up at like 2 in the morning to go for like a 6-mile run. All types of crazy stuff like that would happen.
Yeah. I can't imagine waking up at 2 to go running.
Yeah, you would literally have anxiety all the time because you never knew what was I would literally have anxiety on Sunday, like really bad, because I'm like, oh crap, this is about a whole nother 5 days of this is about to go down. So yeah.
I've listened to like some of the military people that are like on Joe Rogan, and they're like talking about like Hell Week, and some people say it's not that bad, and some other people are like it's terrible, and just everything they have to go through. Like I've heard people say like that sometimes like through that week they maybe get like 3 or 4 hours of sleep, and it just sounds crazy.
Yeah, so that's what happened to me, man. Like with my job, there's a there's this point called FTX, field training exercise, where you go out in the woods for a weekend. You do navigations and you do different things there. Let me put my computer on the charger here. But what was that called? So and then they say you get up to 6 hours of sleep, but there's a trick to it. The trick is everyone from your team has to be back at camp, and that never happens. So you end up actually getting like 1 or 2 hours a night because people get lost in the woods, and and by like the third night, I just was kind of delirious. And so like I was doing a navigation with one of my instructors, and I just put he asked me where I was, and I pointed to where I was, but I was actually pointing at the wrong spot. It was like the street right under there, or the road right under there. So that's what ended up getting me one mark. And then the other thing was, I failed that, so I had to redo it. And when I went to redo it, normally you go back to your forward operating base to kind of clean up, get resituated, and get ready to go again. But since I failed, I went straight from one mission to the next, and I forgot to clean my map off on my way to the next one. And you're supposed to do that. So that's what ended up getting me kicked off of everything. So it's definitely not lack of sleep will definitely just have you making dumb mistakes.
Yeah. Now, when they woke you up, is it anything like in the movies where they come in yelling and like clanging things together?
Yep. Yeah. I remember the worst thing was this one kid named Volitham, and actually we're still friends on Facebook. Literally just yesterday, all of us they were just reminiscing about the times in there. He was not a great troop at all. What happened was we have our rucksacks on our back, and what we're supposed to do is have to have full canteens, and it's supposed to be you have a lanyard strap tied to the canteen that is also tied to your backpack. So, and the reason for that is when you're out in the field, like actually in combat, you don't want to be leaving and losing stuff out in the desert because you don't want to be you don't want people to know you're there, and two, you need your stuff. So he didn't tie off his water bottle, whatever I forget the name now. One, he forgot his canteen. He forgot the can, and then two, he didn't have it filled up. So the instructor gave him like a 50-pound jerry can to carry around. So it was really like that. It was like this big and like that wide, and he had to, and it was heavy, and so he thought he had to carry it around for like a week, but he thought it was a good idea not to fill that up, and they found out, and they got pissed, and so they woke us up like at 2 or 3 in the morning, and they had him carry like a normal 16-ounce water bottle, and they made all of us tie 25-pound sandbags to our canteens, and they made us like do exercises for like 3 hours with it while they were spraying water in our face, and they called it Water Appreciation Day. So yeah. Yeah. He didn't end up making it. So yeah. Yeah,
that's crazy. I heard you talk about like you were talking about how when you finished up in the military, you're so used to like the military diet, like eating before you went and then after you would eat when you got back. But and then when you wanted to become a bodybuilder and you had to like go onto the bodybuilding diet and you had to like eat every couple hours, like how did that like affect you? And I thought I heard you say like you would forget like what times you needed to eat your meals.
Yeah. It's a little so. I started bodybuilding while I was in the Air Force. I turned pro, and I started really as soon as I got to my first base, I started bodybuilding. So my whole time in the military really was I was bodybuilding, and it was a lot easier because I ate before work. I would eat during like my 15-minute break, then lunch, then my last 15-minute break, then after work, and then I would work out and then eat one more time. So it was pretty easy to kind of stay on track. But when I started being like a full-time bodybuilder, it was a little tough because I just had a lot of freedom. I didn't have to wake up at a certain time. I could kind of work out whenever I wanted, and it just was tough kind of getting that structure back. Once I didn't have to do a lot of things.
Yeah. I'm not sure if you like heard about my eating problem that I had. I talk about like every interview, but a couple of years ago, I had a really bad like eating disorder where like I wouldn't like eat anything. I would only eat like once or twice a day, maybe 3 times if I was like actually feeling it. But there'd
Okay.
be times where like I would eat breakfast and I would work myself so up. I would work up so much about it, and I would be like freaking out because I had to eat it. And I remember this one specific time where I was eating eggs in the morning, and it was before school, and I was eating it, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't eat it anymore. And then my dad was like, you need to eat it. Look how skinny you are. And I was like, okay. And then I took a bite, and then I threw up everywhere.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
it's like it was that bad. And then that went on for like 2 or 3 years. But now, ever since maybe a year and a half ago, I've been really getting better at it. I don't know what happened. It just clicked basically, and I met Stan Efferding, and he like really motivated me, and I started eating 6 meals a day. I really tried to put on the weight and just not be 80 pounds when I'm 13 years old and be that skinny kid anymore. And since then, I'm around like I'm like almost 16, and I'm around 150 right now. And a lot of people have been saying I look bigger and I look better now, and I think it's
Awesome.
absolutely awesome. And yeah, I think I've come a long way through that whole eating journey.
That's pretty cool, man. Especially to figure it out so young. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it like an eating disorder. I mean, when I was younger, I was really skinny too. And I always just wanted to be bigger. And I remember I would ask like my football buddies that were just huge at the time, like they were like 200 pounds and I was like 120 and or 100 and actually like 110 or something. And like it's like just eat peanut butter and go to and take naps. And that's what I would do. I didn't know any better, man. I was just sit down and eat but peanut butter and watch TV all day. And it didn't work. It didn't work at all, but I tried. So yeah.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I can't remember who. I think it might have been Guy or someone on Fuwa saying like, just like if you're having like trouble, just to, like eat 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That would be like good, just good like calories to get in. So I did that once in a while, and I didn't really
Okay.
see a huge change, but it did help get in some extra calories. But going back to you, when you like had to do all your meals, and did you ever like end up missing any meals because you weren't like used to the change?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely was not easy. I had to set timers. Eventually, that's what I found that helped me a lot. I set timers so when I need to eat, and that's kind of how I got through it.
What did
Yeah.
you do? Like if like the time went up and you weren't hungry still, did you just force it down, or did you
Yeah.
end up like waiting a little longer?
I mean, normally, so like with me, I cannot like I don't mind being hungry. Um, actually, I kind of, especially now, you'll notice a lot of bodybuilders as they get like older and older, like that they've been doing a while, they don't mind being hungry because eating. It's a funny thing. Jay Cutler once said, this guy asked him, what's his favorite meal? And Jay Cutler said, not eating. That's his favorite meal.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of real. Yeah. So, I mean, I could always eat. I wasn't really ever stuffed once I got out of the military. Um, it just, even if I was hungry, I just didn't really care. I was just either working or trying to get something done, and it didn't really bother me. So, um, yeah, the timers really helped. So that's what
Yeah.
kind of got me through it. But I did have a time where I would be stuffed when I first started bodybuilding, and I would just stuff it down. Yeah, I would feel
Yeah.
like food was coming up to my throat, and I would just,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was always like the hardest part for me because I'd be like, I'm full, and then I would have half a bowl of chicken and rice left, and I had to like eat it all. And yeah,
I
uh,
notice a lot of people shakes help. If macros or match, you
yeah,
can do shakes and stuff. That's what
yeah,
I do. That's what I do now too. I do like half my meals are just shakes throughout the day, just because I like to. If I got to eat a full meal, I can't work, so it gets me really behind. So I do a shake while I'm working a lot.
Do you just do like powder and water?
I do. I got a really cool. So I'll do two different types right now. I have one where I do the naked juice, like the fruit juice, protein powder, oatmeal, and peanut butter. And the other one right now, I'm just doing like almond milk, protein powder, um, oatmeal, and granola. So
Nice.
that's kind of how I go about it. And they're pretty dense. They can be really dense. And then
Make sure you blend it up nice and good.
yeah.
What type of powder do you use? Chocolate or?
So I'm with Still. They have a lot of cool flavors. They have like 6 or 7 different protein flavors. Cool. Normally with the fruit one, I'll do banana just because it goes together, like fruits and bananas. And then
Yeah.
for the almond one, I have like sometimes I'll do peanut butter, and then I have this one butter pecan flavor. I have like cookies and cream. So whatever I'm feeling. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
I gotta definitely try out that. But I kind of want to like move on to a different topic, and I kind of want to like talk about the Olympia. And I was listening to you talk about it, and I found something really interesting, and that was when Chris Bumstead competed at his first show. You were also there, and you ended up beating him. And when the and you thought you beat him, and I just want to ask, like when the Olympia did come around and he was there, did you think you had the win in the bag because you already beat him, or like what did you think?
You talking about this past one, 2020?
Probably
The first one we
the
had?
first time
Okay.
you won. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I didn't really think about him at all. Going into that 2017 Olympia, I was like, okay, well, it was no reason for me to. The funny thing, the funny thing leading into that show though, I was married at one point, and my ex-wife, she was like, I don't think you can beat this guy. I was like, wow, okay. And after I beat him, I just rubbed it in her face. So um yeah, no, I honestly didn't think about Chris just because that reason. I was like, well, I already beat him, so I'm not really, I shouldn't,
Yeah,
he wasn't in my mind.
I can see why she's your ex-wife now.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I mean, it was pretty awesome that he did well though. But no, I didn't honestly, I had no thought that he was gonna place where he did. I thought I was gonna do a lot better, and I did do better, just not where I thought I was, not as quite as good as I thought. I thought I'd be top 5 when I got 6 at that
Yeah.
year. Mm.
Yeah, and when after like seeing him win the Olympia, like how has your mindset like changed towards other people? Like do you never like underestimate people that you go against now?
Yeah. I'm a little bit more, I guess, grounded with things like that now. You never know who's gonna pop up. You never know who's gonna make a crazy transformation anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, even Chris is still surprising me. He made a lot of improvements this past year with like his back. And I didn't think something like that was realistic. So
Yeah.
never, yeah, like you said, never underestimate anybody.
Yeah, and I see that you really gave him a run for his money this past year at the Olympia.
Mhm.
Uh, but like I was listening to, well, I said it when I interviewed Chris, and then Nick Strength and Power said it a couple days ago, and they're like talking about Breon and how he says he has like unfinished work in classic before he might go to another division or like retires or whatever. But he says he's still chasing to win the classic Olympia again. But I think it was because like last year's Olympia, I feel like it was all based around Chris and Breon. And I thought it was absolutely awesome seeing you get second and kind of like beat Breon and just
Yeah.
like I'm here too. And now Chris saying like you're his biggest like threat now.
Mhm.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I'm number 2, so yeah, and I still got a lot of improvements I can make, and I've been steadily improving each year, which has been real. Yeah, I've been making a lot of improvements. Yeah, I went from ninth to second, so and I still have room to improve and room to grow.
Yeah.
Still pretty young, so I think yeah, I think he's fair to say that. Yeah.
Now being on stage and like seeing Breon and Chris like bumping elbows and like almost like fighting each other basically, but getting like really mad at each other. What was it like getting put in between them and then like facing off with Chris and like screaming right in his face? And
Yo, it's a backstory of that. So at his pro debut, Chris was a big fan of mine, and he asked me to do like a most muscular at that first show, and I told him no because that was not. I didn't want. That's not a good pose for me. So I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And so it was kind of cool, 4 years later that I was like, okay, let's do it. I thought that was kind of cool throwback. But honestly, when they were bumping elbows, I didn't think much of it. Honestly, because I've seen bodybuilders do that before, and I don't know. I've just seen it before, so I didn't think. I was like, okay, they're just doing whatever. But when they put me in the middle, I still just thought they put me there just to. I didn't really, honestly. I was just really focused on just being aware of what I was doing on stage. I didn't think too much about it. Like I kind of thought, oh, they just put me there to kind of put some space in between. But at the same time, I was like, oh, cool. I'm getting closer to the middle. So, yeah.
When I saw you get placed in between them, I think that's what really like grew my liking towards you. Just seeing your attitude towards this whole thing. But I want to ask, like, when you got in between Chris and Breon, where it was like Breon like ever like trash talking you, like saying I'm gonna beat you or anything?
No, Breon gets a lot of crap, man. I think Breon's a decent guy, man. I don't have any issues with him.
Yeah.
I think he's like everyone's a little different, but as athletes, a lot of people just are competitive. So when I saw people get like talking crap when he was upset that he didn't win, and I'm like, a good athlete's not gonna be happy that they lost. He went from like being Mr. Olympia to third place. I know I wouldn't be happy being Mr. Olympia and then dropping to third. I think he did all that was required. He shook my hand. He shook Chris's hand. He smiled for a little bit, and then obviously probably when he left, went home, and he probably was pissed in his house, and that's fine. Be pissed in your own house. Don't show it too much on stage, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and the same thing kind of like happened to Phil Heath because he was like winning the Olympias and then he got third. I was talking about like if Breon was trash talking you and you said he was like a nice guy and stuff. Were you trash talking him or Chris?
No, I don't do trash. I don't do any trash talking. I'm not. I'm competitive, but I'm not like a trash talker. I'm not good at that. Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I want to ask, like, going into this year's Olympia, do you think you can win? And what are you like working on? Like, do you think you can beat Chris and be the new Mr. Olympia?
I do think so. I think it's possible. I think it'll be very difficult to do it just this year. Because a lot of people say, they say, oh, you gave Chris a run for his money. But if they look at the scorecards, the judges had him first, and all across the board. It wasn't really close from their eye. It was closer between me and Breon. I only beat Breon by 1 point. So that's why I try to be realistic with myself. And if I do better, that's just how I just do better. Because same with Breon, I didn't think I was going to beat Breon last year. I thought I would probably beat him the following year, but it just happened sooner. So if it happens sooner, I'm not going to complain. But I try to keep it real with myself, and I think maybe 2 years is what I need to do to kind of dethrone Chris.
Yeah, I would love to see you win that. I think it'd be
awesome. Okay.
But yeah, I think you have a lot in store, and I'm excited to see what you're gonna do in the future. But did you expect to get second place last year? Did you think that you were?
Not at all. I honestly thought I would get third, just based on the season. I thought I could either third or fourth actually, because I did the Arnold and I got second to Alex Cabanero, and honestly, I thought I could beat him going into the Olympia, but you never know. It's the judges' decision. So I thought like, oh, maybe I can, maybe I won't. So that's why I had myself between third or fourth. You know, I had never beaten Breon ever before. So just thinking about that, I was like, okay, So when I got second, if you watch the video, I'm just in shock. I'm like, oh, I'm in shock when they called my name. A couple guys did tell me that the judges were like thinking I could play second. And it was, but I honestly didn't think too much about it. Honestly, I was just like, I'll probably still get third, But I don't, everyone talks about mindset and stuff. Like, if you don't think you're gonna win, you're gonna lose and stuff like that. And I don't think that's the case. I think the only thing that matters is that you put 100% effort into whatever you do. Same with Ronnie Coleman. Ronnie Coleman, he had got like 9th before he won the Olympia. He definitely didn't think he was gonna win that year. But he just trained his butt off because he liked training, and he just ate because he liked to do that. He wanted to give his best, and his best was good enough, So, so I don't think mindset's important. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the end all be all. The biggest thing is just putting in the effort and putting in the work.
Yeah. This next thing I'm gonna ask, I want to like hear your thoughts on it. But like, what do you think about the pay for Classic between, Open? Because Open, if you win the Olympia, you get like 400,000, and if you win the Classic, you get like 35. What do you think of that?
I think we deserve more, honestly. I don't think we deserve the same as open bodybuilders, just because I've seen the amount of people that come to the events to see them versus us. I do think it should be more. I think like 80,000 to 100,000 would be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that Classic is like the thing that's drawing the most people towards the sport?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I know we don't draw the most people in to the seats at shows, but I don't know how many more people follow Classic compared to. It seems pretty even now, to be honest with you. Like if you just go by social media followings and stuff, for the most part, Chris has a ton of followers.
Yeah,
I have a decent amount. So I think it's a lot closer, like just fans online, but fans in person, I think bodybuilders still have the most.
Yeah. And you talk about having a good following, and you're verified on Instagram. How do you feel being verified against like your coach who isn't verified yet, John Meadows?
I don't even pay attention to it, man, to be honest with you. Only reason I did it is because my girl, she's like, you should try to do this. And I was like, oh, okay. So you just have to send Instagram a picture of your ID, and that's it. And for some reason, it doesn't work for some people. Like my friend Natalia, she has like double the amount of followers that I have, and she can't get it. Regan Grimes can't get it either. John, he says he hasn't been able to do it either. So I don't really know what they use to verify people, how it works.
Yeah.
At all, no idea.
You were talking about like your girlfriend asking you telling you should get verified. But what does she think of what you're doing? Like this whole like bodybuilding thing. Like when you get into like your prep, I know that like some bodybuilders like James and them, they're like, all right, these next couple months are not gonna be good, so maybe like towards the end you should just leave for like a month.
Did James really say that?
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, I am like this is me all prep. This right here. I don't really have a change. And even I've talked to my coach John about it. Each prep has gotten significantly easier, like not even just mentally, but like I don't have to do as much cardio. I don't have to diet as hard. It's just easier, and to the point now, man, where I can just like last prep, I was still going out to like Disney World and stuff like a couple weeks before. I don't have an issue with that, and I don't know if it's a mixture of like, yeah, prep has gotten easier, but even when prep was harder, I was never a mean person. I just was a little tired. Yeah. And I think that comes from just being in the military. Like, you ever heard, like John said it a couple of times, he said, once, John's almost passed away now twice. And he says after having something like that happen, nothing in life really bothers him anymore. And just kind of a similar note, like me going through that military training, pretty much nothing's really quite as hard as that anymore. That was really like the hardest thing in my life. So, bodybuilding is definitely difficult, but just kind of comparing it to what I've been through, it's not as hard. So
yeah, I kind of have like that kind of like same mentality, because with wrestling, and that really disciplines you. And my mom almost dying from a stroke, I think it's really like motivated me to like go after this and really prove people that I can do this, and just really show my parents and my family that like I'm sticking to my word. I told you guys that I would do this, and now I'm gonna go and prove you guys right.
it's awesome, man. Yeah. So no, it's cool. I don't have my relationships don't suffer because I'm in prep. The only bad thing is, I mean, this isn't really bad, but last time we did like, I feel bad when I do compete. So as an amateur, when you compete, it's all about you. Your family can hang out with you right after the show. Everything after the show's over, you can go do everything with your family. But when you get to a certain level as a pro, and you don't have to, like Chris doesn't do it. I saw at Olympia, he went with his family and stuff. But me personally, I feel that as a pro, like when I compete, it's about the fans. So I go to the meet and greets. I hang out there until everyone's gone. After Olympia, I stayed, and hung out with the fans with the trophy. A lot of people got pictures with like my medal and stuff. And I just kind of feel bad because my family comes and they don't really get a lot of time with me. So that's the only downside to like competing and prep and stuff is I'm busy. Like my mom, she gave me, after the show, she came and found me and she hugged me. We talked for like 5 minutes and she went to bed, and I stayed and, talked with fans until like midnight.
Yeah, I think that's what separates a lot of people, because I know I have like experience with that. I used to be a huge golfer when I was younger, and I remember seeing Tiger Woods. It was like a rain delay, and I was the only one on the tee box, and Tiger Woods gets out of the thing he was riding on, and I was the only one around with my dad, and I go, "Tiger!" and I reach out my hand for a high five. I could just see like his eye like glance the corner of his eye, and then he just walks right by me.
Oh,
Compared to another golfer, it's my favorite. His name is Luke Donald, and I would only be able to see him like once a year, and every year he would remember who I was, and the whole 18 holes that we would play, he would talk to me every hole, like on
that's
the way.
cool, man.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of am the way I am, because I had a experience like that. And I'm like, I had a pro, he was also in the Air Force, and I got my pro card and I walked up to him and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm a big fan of yours. I'm also in the Air Force. I just got my pro card." And he just kind of looked at me and said, "Okay." And then he just turned his head and started watching the show again. And I was like, man, it sucks. And so like, I never want anyone to kind of feel like that, So every time someone comes up to speak to me, I make sure, I talk to them and I give them respect,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to like the golf thing about Luke Donald, like it was like towards the time I like started to like get out of golfing and not really playing anymore. And it's like the last time I saw him, I think he was walking out, and we were about to leave, and my dad was like, well, we're probably not gonna come back here next year, so you gotta do something. Why don't you go ask to trade your hats with him? And I was like, what? What are you talking about?
That's
He's like,
cool.
go. So I ran. I was running, and I was like, Luke. And he turns around and he goes, what's up? And he's like, can we trade hats? And he's like, sure. So I took off mine, and he took off his, and we traded. So
That's
I
pretty
still have
cool, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I wonder if he still has it. But,
Dude, that's pretty cool.
yeah. But, I want to move on to a topic where I think you are the most known for this. I think it's your posing routine. You just have this like sort of like flawless movement. It's kind of like a ballet. You're like going through all the movements, and I just think it's amazing to watch. So do you think that this is like this your posing routine? Do you think that's what draws the many people to you?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, that's how I started getting my get. I was the funny thing is I was really popular before I was like a top 5 Olympian. I was kind of the outlier, and I
Yeah.
was able to kind of create a business and stop working in the military a lot sooner because of my posing. Um, so yeah, I definitely think that plays a huge part. I remember I got my first like really big jump in like following because Kai Green reposted my routine, my survival routine from Toronto. And yeah, man, I've always been into art. Like I said, I was, I always drew. I was always into it. I always liked like kind of like dancing. I just never did it in public. so so yeah, yeah. So this is the closest thing to me dancing in public, and yeah, that's I've always liked it. So I think that's what draws people to me.
Now, when you say like you like dancing, but you'll never like do it in public, do you think you have like this image in your head where it's like nice and like amazing, and then in like reality, you're like,
I'm just really self-conscious, man. Like I am an introvert. I definitely I've always been like really shy and reserved. So yeah, that's probably another reason why I never really went to concerts. I would always feel like kind of nervous in big crowds and stuff. So yeah, I would think, yeah, I thought I would. That's my fear is like, I think I look good, but I actually look stupid, you know?
uh, but going back to like posing, do you think like every classic or every bodybuilder needs a good posing routine, especially in classic?
Um, yeah, I think every bodybuilder should know how to pose. They don't have to be like great, but they should put effort into it, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone's not gonna be like Michael Jackson great, but you think everyone can have something, creative and something that people like. Sure.
Nice. So, Terrence, I just have 3 questions left, and then I have some fan questions to get to. So, you good
Okay.
with time and everything?
Yeah.
All right. So, the next thing I want to discuss with you is like your coaching. We kind of touched on it earlier, but I know that you're coached by Joe Bennett and John Meadows. So, do you mind starting off by like telling me how you came in contact with these guys and how you started working with them?
Cool. Yeah. So, in 2014, I was at nationals and trying to get my pro card, and I see this huge dude with a whole bunch of freckles, and I just thought, like, who's this guy? And like a month later, I my acquaintance of mine, he owned the gym, and he had John Meadows giving a seminar. I'm like, oh, that's who that was. So that's literally my first thought of John. I got to go to the seminar and learn a lot from him, and from that point on, I really respected him. But I didn't work with him actually until 2019. So was that 5 years later? So yeah, that's kind of how I met him.
Yeah.
But even between that time, though, I would always help him out when I could. Like anytime he had a seminar somewhere, I would post it up on my page because I knew he was giving good information.
Yeah.
And I would always even I remember every year at the Arnold, I would walk down to where he was doing the seminar. It was at a different hotel, and I would hang out until I had to go work the booth at the Arnold. And even he did one in Toronto too. And I remember that when I was competing that weekend, and I still came and hung out and listened to him speak. So I've always, when I could, tried to learn from him, even if I wasn't working with him. And then, once my previous coach passed away, um, I waited a few months, and then I wanted to get back on track.
Yeah.
And he was the guy who I reached out to, and he was more than happy to help me out.
Nice.
So that's how I met John. You go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to stop you right there and say, uh, I did this like little tournament on my Instagram story quite a while ago with John, and this was like before he started following me and stuff. So I did like the sideburns competition, and he had crazy sideburns,
Yeah, like
like
Sabretooth.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I did like, all right, who has the better chops, John Meadows or Terrance Ruffin? Because I took a picture from you when you had it quite a while ago.
Oh my God, yeah.
And then John won by a landslide. And then after that, I did him and Ron Partlow. And then John won. And I was like, all right, it's the finals, everybody. And I did him and Wolverine.
That's the one I saw. Yeah.
And that's when John reposted it. And John won that tournament. And that's when he started following me.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that was John's an awesome guy, man. He's literally like one of the best people I've ever met. He's super nice. He's super like he's intelligent. He's like he's kind of like the person I want to be when I get his age. You know, he's done so many great things in bodybuilding.
Yeah, I hear Fuad talking about that a lot because he says that when he was younger, he used to really be like cocky and think he's like better than everyone. But then he's like, I want to be like John Meadows because John Meadows is such a genuine and kind and awesome guy that really works hard. And he's like, I want to be more like him. So I think John, it really is a good person.
Yeah, man. Did you want to hear about how I met Joe or?
Yeah, I just wanted to stop there and tell my funny thing.
Okay. No, it's cool. It's cool. So with Joe, I met Joe after apparently he saw me first, but I competed in Tampa, at the Tampa Pro. That was my first pro win. And he shot me a DM saying like, hey, I saw you compete and good job. I've been checking out your training videos and I think I can help you improve a bit. And, I didn't know who he was at the time. But I just kind of made it. I kind of saw some of the content he had put out, and I'm like, oh, he seems pretty smart. I saw that he was training at MI40 where Ben Bukowski, he owned that gym. And I can't remember if he was working with Dallas at the time, but if he was, that's probably another huge reason why I went down there. So I drove 6.5 hours to go and train with him. And down in Tampa, this is the whole reason I moved to Tampa, because of him. And I had my first session with him and I almost died. So almost died. But it was a lot different than what I was used to. Like, I wasn't like super out of breath. He wasn't just like making me do a whole bunch of stuff. He was making me do things better. And that's what I noticed. And after that point, I would drive down once a month to go train with him. And, it's funny. A lot of people, they see me and they see all these relationships I have and they think I just was lucky. And it's like, no, like with John, I would literally go out of my way to help him out. I would go to his events when I could. And that was 5 years before we worked together. With Joe, I would drive because I was still in the military then. I would drive down on a Friday night, train with him twice on Saturday, once on Sunday, and then drive another 6.5 hours back, and then go back to work. And then also on top of that, I had to pay for the hotel and everything while I was there. And I wasn't making much money then, So, and then eventually I moved down here. Once I got out of the military, I just moved down and trained with him full time.
Yeah, I definitely think that Joe and John are like definitely like some of the top coaches, and I think they're some of the nicest. But I think they've been really helping you out really well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here where I am without them, for sure.
All right, Terrence. These next two questions are kind of stupid.
Okay. Thanks for warning me. All right.
So I was watching one of your videos. It was got to be quite a while ago. But Sour Patch Kids cereal.
Oh, yeah.
What does that taste like? Does it taste like the candy? Is it good at all?
I liked it, but you can only have it I couldn't have it all the time. Like, it's something, it's kind of cool to have like once in a while, but not something you want to eat all the time. It is a little bit of sour. It is sour for a second, and then it's just like the candy, yeah. And then it gets sweet.
Nice.
Yeah. I gave it
do you like put it in milk, or do you just eat it like raw?
I put it in milk, yeah.
So you got like sour milk?
You have to give it. You got to give it a shot. You got to give it a shot. It's not.
The thing is, I looked everywhere for it, and I could not find it. Where do you find it? Where do you get it?
I think it was. I want to say I got most of my cereal from just Walmart, but it was limited edition, so it might not have. By the time you saw the video, it might have been discontinued.
Yeah, because I looked in Target, I looked in a store that's next to us, nothing. And
Yeah,
I really
most of
want
the
to
time
try
the
it.
best series are usually in like Walmart.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll check out Walmart. But this next question isn't bodybuilding related. I want to talk like movies and TV with you,
Cool.
and I want to start off. Are you like interested in superheroes at all?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Like
surprised you didn't know that. Yeah.
who's your like favorite character?
It's tough, man. I like a lot, but I think I was talking to someone the other day. I think my favorite power would be he's a really small character. A lot of people don't know him, but Darwin from X-Men. He was in the movie, but he kind of died quick in the movie, First
Yeah.
Class. But I like his power because he just can adapt to anything. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Besides him, I like a lot of strange characters. Let me just think of someone a big character. I like Nightcrawler. That's a big
Yeah, that's
character I
cool.
like. Yeah. I like the teleport.
Nice. I think one of my favorites is a person like that like isn't like known, but he's also in like kind of like the X-Men world, and his name is Kid Omega.
I know Omega Red, but not Kid Omega.
Kid Omega is like this telepath, and he could like think of like this object, and it'll be like in this like pink, awesome like form. He can combine like objects together. He'd be like, I want a gun that can shoot people that can also travel me back in time, and I'll have it. And it's just
Wow.
awesome.
So you probably know Legion too. I like Legion. Legion's
Yeah.
cool.
And he can put like people inside his head and like control them and like just like see what's happening. And it's just he's like a I forgot what they call it. What is it like? He's like an Omega level mutant, which is like the top
Exactly. Yeah.
ones. Yeah,
I
and he's
figured he was.
yeah. But the thing is, in the comic books, he's not even like that popular, and he's such an awesome character. And his like first appearance is only like $10.
I'm surprised they don't talk about him more because they talk about people like was it Reed Richards' son? He has like
Yeah,
similar powers and he's like everyone loves him.
yeah. Franklin, he can make like pocket universes and
Mhm.
crazy
Yeah.
stuff. But going to like movies and TV, what is your favorite superhero movie?
Oh man. Does it have to like not animated movie, like on
Yeah,
the big screen?
yeah.
Okay. Um
And then I also want to talk about anime with you after.
okay. My favorite one would probably be the Infinity War when Thanos snapped and everyone died. Because you never get to see a bad guy win and you never get to see like a bad guy's perspective. So I thought that was really cool.
Terrence, it's strike two. You had to say Guardians of the Galaxy because Dave Batista is in it.
Oh my gosh. Dave Batista's in this movie too, though.
I know, but he died. So you like it when he dies in the movie? That's why you like it because he dies.
Oh man. No, that's yeah, I like to see something different. So that, and then there's also this one I just watched. It's animated though, but it's the DC I think it's I can't remember now. Apocalypse War or something. So
Yeah, I know what you're
basically
talking about.
Dark Side wins for a little bit. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Yeah, that one.
I think DC has way better animated movies,
They
and if
do.
only they could like transform that into like their live action, I think they would be doing really good.
Yeah.
But what are some of your like outside of superheroes and that sort of thing? Like, what are some of your like favorite like movies and TV shows?
Outside of superheroes. Oh man, well, I'm just gonna sprout out like 10 shows I like.
All right.
Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. This new show I watched called Barry. It's about this assassin that wants to be an actor. Pretty funny. Um, let me see. Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul.
Yep.
Um,
I
what
just want to
else?
stop you right there real quick.
Okay.
I think I want to watch this movie so bad. It's called Nobody, and
Oh yeah.
it is Saul, and it's like the producers of John Wick, and I really want to watch it so bad.
Yes, the guy from Better Call Saul. Yeah, yeah. I want to see that too.
All
It
right.
looks pretty funny.
So far, you have 4, and I've seen 4 of them.
Okay, okay. Pursuit of Happiness. I love Will Smith. Will Smith's a great actor.
Okay.
Let me see what else. Other movies I like. I don't know. Trying to think of something different. I mean, it's just superhero stuff, but I like The Boys, and I like this new show called Invincible.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that show was intense. I think I'll leave it there. That's a good number of shows. I think.
Yeah.
Vikings, and
Vikings. Yeah.
it's another one just like Vikings. The Kingdom, I think. The Last Kingdom. The
Yeah.
Last Kingdom. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I've seen, how many was that? 7? Yeah, I've seen 6 out of 7 of those.
Okay. I like those shows. Yeah.
But I'm excited for season 3 of The Boys. I think.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna
Yeah.
see Jensen Ackles, Dean Winchester from Supernatural, coming as a new superhero.
That show is intense. That's all I can say. Have you seen Invincibles? Invincible?
Yep.
Yeah, it's similar. It's a similar. The funny. The Walking Dead. That's another show I like because Robert Kirkman makes.
Yeah.
He's Invincible. He wrote Invincible. Yeah, that Robert Kirkman's great. Yeah. He's a great writer. So
it's just crazy with Invincible, the comic books, because they're so expensive. Like
really,
number 1 is super, super expensive.
How much is it?
I don't know, hundreds.
Really? Yeah. It was funny. They made a joke about that in the show, saying comic books are expensive. I'm like, comic books are like $1. Like, what do you mean?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I have like 17 boxes of comics, and they can range anywhere from like 50 cents to close to a couple million, and it's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, like the first appearance of Superman is like $3 million. If it's
okay.
Yeah.
No, okay. I'm just talking about like that's interesting, but I was just talking about like new comics. Like they're not super expensive, right?
They're like $4 or $5 now.
Okay.
And there's this cool thing that they do now. It's called graded comics. I don't think they did this back then. All right, I'm gonna give you an option. What do you want to see? Like a Deadpool, a Batman, a Daredevil, another Batman.
Let's see Deadpool.
Deadpool?
Yeah.
All right, I have 2.
Cool. That's nice.
All right, so what you do with these, like we've never done it. These have been gifts from other people.
Okay.
So, but what you do, you send your book to this place called CGC. It's like the certified grading company, and they grade your books, and the highest you can get is a 10.0. So this first one I got as a gift is this Deadpool one.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Let's see, I'm gonna full screen it.
Oh wow. Okay.
So,
twerk with me. Okay.
And that's then cool. Yeah. And then this other one that I think is really cool. This is the first time they fight Wolverine and Deadpool.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah. Try not to get the glare. But it is pretty cool. And it's like in hard plastic, and they're supposed to be waterproof, but like, you don't want to test it. One of the people in the comic community was like, if I throw this in the pool, will the comic get wet? Because it is supposed to be waterproof. And the owner of like CGC was like, yeah, you can't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah, it's probably a bad idea.
Yeah. But you want to get some to some fan questions?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you watch Naruto yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God.
Seen it. I know.
I remember Chris was asking you about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I watched other anime. Like I really like Death Note. I watched that.
I was watching that yesterday, actually.
Yeah. There's one called Tokyo Ghoul that I really like. Soul Eater. One I like is called Full Metal Alchemist.
That's really one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Full Metal Alchemist is great.
Yeah. And then my dad's watching one right now that I kind of watch once in a while, and it's called, High Rise Invasion.
Actually, never seen that one.
It's on Netflix.
Okay.
So it's like snipers, and like you can only travel like from building to building, like through bridges and stuff on top of the building, and it looks pretty cool.
Okay.
But what are some of your favorites?
Obviously Naruto, Full Metal Alchemist, Hunter x Hunter is really good. What else do I like? Fire Force, which is a new one. Pretty new one. Attack on Titan, which is coming up
Oh
on its
yeah,
final
yeah.
season, and those are some of my favorites right there. I'm not a huge fan of Dragon Ball Z. I used to love it when I was
Yeah.
younger, but I don't really watch it now.
I don't know if you've seen it, but it's called Parasite, and it's about this guy.
Yeah,
hand.
with the
Yeah,
hand.
and it's like the
Yeah,
eyeball. Yeah.
yeah. I've seen it. I've been getting into that one too. That one's pretty cool.
Now, have you seen like the animated Miles Morales movie?
Spider. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Okay, because that's definitely like one of the top Marvel animated movies. And I don't know if like you're into like kind of like cartoony kind of animated, but there's this one called Troll Hunters on Netflix.
Yeah, it's great.
You watch
It's
it?
great. Yeah. I've seen it. I like it because there's like different stories and they
Yeah.
all kind of, yeah, it's really cool.
Ah, it's awesome to hear that you like that, man. I feel like you're my best friend.
I watch so much TV, man. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Joe to get Joe to have his kids watching. He has 3 kids,
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, they'll love it.
In the first season of Troll Hunters, Tales of Arcadia, when Arg dies, spoilers. You know Arg, right?
Remind, which one's Arg again? The big
He's
one?
the big green guy.
Yeah.
He's like the pacifist. So when he died, me and my brother were so sad. My brother was crying for like an hour.
Yeah.
Because it was sad because he was like you could see him turn to stone, and he's like wingman going for like the fist bump, and then he turned all the stone and he died.
I remember there was the trolls, and then they have the aliens, and then there was another group too. I can't remember right now.
Yeah, it was kind of like the it's like the King Arthur kind of story.
Oh yeah. Magicians and stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't believe you watched that.
I watch a lot of cartoons still, like Adventure Time. I watched this one.
Yeah. Oh my god, another one. Now you
There
watch
was
Rick
one
and Morty,
more.
right?
Rick and Morty, he's great. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Screen it again. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. But Robot Chicken is another one that I like.
Robot Chicken's great. Seth Green. Yeah.
All right, last one. Have you watched the animated Voltron on Netflix?
The what is it?
It's Voltron.
No, I haven't. My cousin's seen it. He told me to watch it, but I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you have to watch it.
Okay.
My dad grew up watching the old Voltron, and then I really love this. It's over now. I think it's like 3 or 4 seasons, but it's awesome. You gotta check it out.
Okay.
All right, fan question. Excuse me. How good did the fist? Oh, just warning. This is just from like Instagram people. I didn't come up with these. So
Okay.
how good did the fist bump with Chris feel on stage when he got moved between Breon and Chris?
I don't know. I was just no. Me and Chris we always had a good relationship, man. We're not close, but we've always been, I guess like really respectful of each other. So yeah, man. It just felt the overall just me being moved felt great. Yeah.
Are you Team Kong or Godzilla?
Kong. I already seen the movie, but I'm still Team Kong. Yeah.
My brother is Team Kong all the way. I'm Godzilla, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely stronger, without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, well. We already discussed this. You're like top 3 anime. We already went over that.
Top 3. Let me do it in order. So Naruto is definitely my number 1.
Okay.
Oh my god, that's tough. I really like how Attack on Titan is going, so I would say that's number 2 now. Number 3 is gonna be tough. It's either between Full Metal Alchemist and Hunter x Hunter. Will be. I'm just not gonna pick. So you got top 4. So yeah, my top 4.
How tall are you, and how much do you weigh on stage?
Yeah, this question is asked 1,000 times. Yeah. They can just Google it. But I'm 5'5", and on stage I weighed about 177 this year. Normally I don't weigh myself, so I almost never know. But just because Olympia was close, I just brought my scale. Normally, I don't know how much I weigh on stage.
What cartoon/anime character inspired you to do bodybuilding?
None inspired me. None. I told the story how I got into bodybuilding. I mean, yeah.
Right.
One of my favorite characters though is dang, you don't know him, but it would be Guy and Rock Lee from Naruto. Besides that, if you watch Attack on Titan, one of my favorite characters is Levi Ackerman. You know,
Okay.
so
if you could have any character's physique in like any movies or animation, who would you have?
these questions are tough, man. I don't. Baki. Baki's a great show. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's on Netflix. It's great, and it's
Okay.
kind of like a fighting show that.
Yeah, it's like that fighting anime, right?
And they have a lot of like famous people in it, like Muhammad Ali. Actually, there's a bodybuilder in it, Sergio Oliva.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe one of those characters, maybe Baki. He's got a really good physique.
Nice.
If someone you may know might be, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it there. Yeah, there's like a lot of swole dudes in anime now.
Yeah. Who are the best posers competing right now?
I like this question. Obviously, like Sergio Oliva Jr. He won the best pose award at the Arnold. He's great. Let me name some other. He's probably the best bodybuilder, like open bodybuilder poser now. Besides him, obviously guys like Brian are great, but some lesser known guys that I really, really like is Jared Crew. Who else? Mighty Mike. He's probably my favorite poser. He's the only guy like I really talk to about posing. Ask for like tips and stuff. Besides him, some girls that are great would be Rachel Daniels and Alyssa, the classical queen. And I think that's a pretty good list there. Yeah.
Man, you're not even giving yourself any credit.
Oh, I mean, I don't feel like I do enough posing. I don't know, but those are the guys I like. Yeah, the people I like.
How long do you practice posing for, and do you choose the song first or after?
I don't practice as much as I used to. I practice when I need to now. When I first started, I would practice like an hour a day. Then it got maybe down to 30 minutes, then maybe 10 minutes. And now I practice when I need to come up with a routine, really.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I picked the song first. I mean, if it's kind of funny, if you have an eye for anything like posing wise, you see that I'm posing to the beat of the music. You can't really do that if you do the routine first, So I picked the song first and then I create my routine.
All right, this one's mine. I want to ask this. What's like the craziest posing routine you've like ever seen someone do where they're going all over the place and they have like metal music playing? Have you ever seen anything crazy?
Like a bad routine?
Yeah, like what's like the worst?
Oh, the worst. There's tons of bad routines. Oh man, there's no like there's tons of them. There's shoot. Oh man. This wasn't per se a routine. It was this guy. I don't even know the music anymore, but he was literally like the stomping on the ground and yelling like ah every time. And I was like, what is happening? And that was probably the worst one. He probably watched like that. Have you seen Pumping Iron?
Yeah.
And like Arnold, remember he told this kid to like scream while he posed. He probably saw that and thought Arnold was serious. So like, that was probably the worst one I've seen ever. There's one other guy. He's really, I wouldn't say it's the worst, but it's very different. It's strange. His name's Lucas Osladil. And if you got to look him up because he does some really weird poses, like stuff you may see like in the Ginyu Force or like the Power Rangers. He's very weird, so that would be like the another guy. He's not I wouldn't say it's bad, but just really strange. Yeah.
All right. When should posing affect someone's placing, or should it just come down to physique overall?
I don't know, man. People ask me that all the time, and I think it would be tough figuring out how many points to give, like, award people for posing. You know, you don't want it to be out of balance. You know, have a guy that looks like he's been competing a year beating a guy that, you know. So it's kind of tough, man, to kind of put a value on posing. For sure. They do it at the Arnold, and I guess they do a pretty good job at the Arnold. So I think it would be fine, just basing it off how they do it at the Arnold, because you never see a guy at the Arnold and you're like, why did this guy beat the other guy? You know. So yeah, I think it'd be judged. And the cool thing is at least with open bodybuilders, you can see a huge difference between the routines there and the routines at every other show, because they don't care about people at the other show. The bodybuilders don't care about posing at other shows because it's not judged, so they don't put effort into it. But they put a lot of effort into the ones at the Arnold.
You're talking about the Arnold a lot. What do you think of like the show that The Rock is trying to do, but it keeps getting like pushed back? Do you think that it'll end up being like bigger than the Arnold?
Dude, I'm so frustrated with that show keep getting pushed out. I get it. I totally understand it. I get why they keep it. But yeah, I got invited to it's definitely the most prestigious event. It will be the most prestigious event, even more prestigious than the Olympia. For the simple, obviously the Olympia is more important, but it's harder to get to the Rock show because
to get to the Olympia, money behind it.
Yes and no. So there's a lot of money behind it, but it's distributed differently. So that's why that's back when they were asking like Brandon Curry and Phil Heath were they going to do it, and Dexter Jackson. A lot of those guys weren't really interested because open bodybuilders get paid less, but every other class gets more money. So each class will get $65K across the board. So yeah, so definitely for me and classic guys, yeah, we'll be out that show more than the Olympia. We get paid, so yeah, and yeah, it's definitely more prestigious because they only let 12 people per class go. So at the Olympia, it's about 25 or 30 people coming. So if you win a pro show, you can go to the Olympia, and even I think the top 5 in points can go. At the Rock show, only 12. So any Mr. Olympia can go, and then they handpick the other guys that can go. So very, very difficult. So I was lucky enough to be chosen as one of those 12. Yeah.
I feel like if you win that show, you should be able to like hang out with The Rock for like a day.
That would be awesome. Yeah. We need to talk to him about that.
Yeah. Dude. All right. I have one last question for you, Terrence, and this is a question that I asked all my guests that I interview. And this question is for people like us who aren't, or people like me who aren't the most popular kid in school, people that would sit alone at lunch and they want to like go out and do something great. But like right now they're like nervous and they're not sure what to do. They're kind of like stuck. So what advice can you give to these people that want to go out and do great in their lives, but they're stuck in life right now?
Great. Stuck. Oh man, I think you're already a great example of it, man. Like you're already doing so much. Like I have like adults, man, that hit me up all the time asking me for handouts and to do stuff, and they've literally put in no work and no effort. And I'm like, and I actually mentioned you a few times. I'm like, if I have 2 people coming to me and one has literally done nothing and they're asking me to shout out their page or something, and then I have another person like you who's actually put in work, who has created I don't know what you call this, a podcast or a podcast, then I'm gonna go with the person that's actually trying to do something, that's already putting in effort, man. I think you don't have to have the perfect idea or the perfect plan to get started, but as long as you're getting started and putting effort into something, then you're on the right path, you know. And you know, you're lucky enough that it's already paying off very early, but you know, some people it takes a lot longer, you know. And that's fine, you know. Be prepared to wait a while, you know. Another guy like Gary Vee, everyone knows Gary Vee. It took him a long time to actually blow up. You know, he was putting out videos for a long time, you know, until he was really popped up. So I would just say, whatever you want to do in life, go ahead and get started. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just put your first foot forward, and it'll pay off eventually.
Well, Terrence, I want to thank you so much for doing this. I had so much fun with this, and I definitely think that this is like one of my favorite ones I've done so far.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I just thought it was awesome. I think we had a really good connection, and I thought this interview went great. And I want to thank you for doing this. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, man, I had a good time, man. I definitely wanted to talk to you about like comics and superheroes and stuff. So I'm glad we got to do that.
Yeah. Next time, if you want to come on again, we'll talk comics the whole time and movies and whatever. We'll have like a pop culture show.
That'd be great, man. You got to get John too. John, I don't know if you know him. He's super in the
trying to get him on.
More. I'll hit him up.
Yeah, well,
see what he
I messaged
says.
him and he left me on red.
He's busy, man. When'd you message him?
Yesterday.
Yesterday, which was Friday. Friday.
I know he's super busy all the time.
Yeah. No, I know. I'll hit him up. He might have forgot. Like sometimes I do the same thing. Like I have an intent of like getting back to somebody and I just forget.
Well, at least he didn't forget this podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks again, Terrence, for doing this. I had a lot of fun. Everyone, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe and the like and hit the notification so you don't miss any more of these awesome interviews.
All right, guys.